Hello, I have my cozies on, I have my tea, I have a new microphone, and I have my stack of books that I read in May. Let's talk about it. We did a lot of traveling this month, so I wasn't expecting to have read very many books, but I somehow managed to still read 7 books, which is really exciting. So some of them were good, some of them were super not good, but we'll get into that. Okay, let's go through these in the order that I read them. So first I read In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. This is technically book number 2 of the Lovelight Farms series, which I have not read book 1 just because it was like, Lovelight Farms is like a Christmas tree farm and it's not Christmas tree farm season. So I didn't read that one first. I just went straight into this one. I also just like loved the cover. I read this. I started reading this in April on Earth Day, and In the Weeds, it just like felt right, you know? But I rated In the Weeds 3.5 stars. This was a very good, just like basic small town romance. It was definitely a grumpy sunshine. So the main character is a social media like influencer, and she's wanting to take a break and find her roots and just like figure out who she is and what she wants to do with her life. And so obviously she goes back to a small town that she'd been in before, she'd visited, and she decides to stay there and obviously meet someone. Yeah, I really like this. This was a bit slow in some spots, and it was more descriptive writing than I typically like. So I felt I was like skipping sections of paragraphs just because like I don't need all the description. But it was good overall. If you liked the book When in Rome by Sarah Adams, then you probably would also like this one. I also just want to say, like, just because I rated it a 3.5 doesn't mean it was bad. It was still good. Anyway, speaking of Sarah Adams' When in Rome, this is the second book in the When in Rome series. This one's called Practice Makes Perfect. This one I rated a 4 stars. This is another grumpy sunshine. It is a fake dating trope. So if you're into that kind of thing, you would like this one. I did listen to this one on Spotify. I do think that affects my ratings. I think that I tend to like romance audiobooks. Like I rate them higher if I've listened to them, but that's a whole other science that we don't have the time to get into today. This one is about Annie Walker, which is the sister of the main guy in When in Rome. And it's all about her like finding herself, finding like what she wants out of life, and kind of breaking out of the stereotypes that have been like placed on her, or like the character that has been placed on her by her small town, and figuring out what she wants to do with her life. So I really liked this one. I liked the romance. It was cute and sweet. There was a lot of good banter. Yeah, I liked it. I had a very romance heavy month, just kind of what I'm into right now. So next I read Swift and Saddled. This is also the second book in the series. This is the second book of the Done and Dusted series. This one just came out in May, I believe. No, April maybe. I don't know. This is definitely a 2024 release. Also by Lila Sage. First of all, the covers. I love all of the covers of the series. They're so good. This one this is another small town romance. It follows one of the younger brothers, Wes, from the Done and Dusted book. And it follows him going through everything that he goes through. He has like depression, so it talks about that, which I really enjoyed, like learning more about that and just like adding that extra layer to the male main character. And then also Ada, who comes from a big city to their small town in Wyoming, Montana. I should know this. One of the two, I think. Wait. But they go to Rebel Blue Ranch, and she is the interior designer of the project that Wes is working on. So very good. I liked this. I liked their little romance. There was good banter in this one as well. And I liked like the little Easter eggs from the first series, and just like getting to see them, like the characters from the first series, like kind of it's not really like continuing their story, but you just get to see more of them, which I like that. I also rated Swift and Saddled 4 stars. Sorry, forgot that one. The next book that I read was on Kindle Unlimited. This is just one of those, literally, it is just smut, is all that it brings to the table. Sometimes that's just kind of what you're looking for. You're looking for a really short, spicy book. Okay, this month, that was a book called Step Farmer. I don't know if you can see that. Step Farmer by Danny Wyatt. I gave this one 2 stars. First of all, how many stars can you even really give a Kindle Unlimited book like this where you're literally, there's no plot. It's just is what it is. I mean, it's like less than 150 words, not words, 50 pages. I don't know. Check it out. Read what it's about if you're interested in that kind of thing. I'm not going to go into much detail. Check it out before you say no. Don't knock until you try it. Speaking of don't knock until you try it, the next book I read is The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. This one I rated a 4 stars. This is like if you want to dip your toe into the Omegaverse, which if you want to know about the Omegaverse, like comment below. I can create a whole other video about that. Yeah, this one was really cute. It's fake dating. Obviously like Omegaverse, so it's like kind of shifter romance. What do they call themselves? I think they call themselves shifters. And obviously he is an alpha and she is an omega, so things happen. I really liked that they were both doctors. I feel like a lot of times with Omegaverse books, like the omega is just an omega, but for this book, like she is her own person as well. I feel like that doesn't make Omegaverse books sound very good, but they are. If you need Omegaverse recommendations. So the main character is an alpha and he's about to lose his job because the hospital found out that he's an alpha and he didn't like tell them. And so he ends up fake dating Mac and doesn't know that she's an alpha and then finds out that doesn't know that she's an omega and then finds out that she's an omega, and then obviously it goes on from there. But yeah, I liked that one. That was really cute and fun and quick. Next, I don't even want to talk about this one. I mean, obviously we have to talk about it. But next I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This book, before I say my ratings, this book, I saw so many recommendations for it. So many like good reviews and ratings about this book on TikTok and Instagram and Goodreads and just everywhere. I didn't love it. 2 stars. Solid 2 stars, no more than that. I felt like her writing was very repetitive. I felt like she was telling us like the same things nearly every single chapter. And it was just like, I feel like the very first page of this book is a very good indication of like how the book goes, and the very first page is very repetitive. I guess a little bit about this book. So this is a fantasy romance and it's trials, like Hunger Games vibes. I just think that there's better fantasy books that have trials. I recently read, or like this year I read Serpent in the Wings of Night, which I think is a much better option if you're looking for a book about trials. I think that book was better written and just overall like easier to read. I don't know, like this wasn't hard to read. It's just like the writing style made me not want to read it. This one took me over a week to read. So 2 stars. And in comparison, the last book that I read was A Curse of Blood and Wolves by Melissa McTernan. So this one is, okay, first, this one got a 3.75 stars from me. And this one I read in 2 days. Like this is like my normal speed and normal pacing. Granted, this one is like half of the page count of this one, but like this one I just didn't want to sit down and read it. But like I liked the story, and the reason that I finished it and I didn't DNF it was because I liked the story and wanted to know what was going to happen. It just was hard to get through. I don't know, I didn't love it. Anyway, back to A Curse of Blood and Wolves. This is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, and this specific edition is from the Fairy Loot May box. I read May book in May, which is very cool of me. But like as soon as I got this, I was so excited about it. I wanted to read it. So, okay, so obviously this is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. So there's like her traipsing in the woods and like him following her. But then we find out that he's protecting her and that there are other wolves coming after her. And so he tries to like protect her and get to the bottom of like what's going on. And then at the same time, there's like a whole plot line, storyline going on with her sister, and her sister is like sick, and so they're trying to find like ways to make her not sick to help her. So then they pair up, they work together, they're trying to get to the bottom of like who are the wolves that are coming after her and what is wrong with her sister and how can they help her sister. So yeah, this one, it was just fun. It was quick, it was fast paced. I got through it super quickly. And also I'm like obsessed with this edition of this book. So I guess I can show you. But like the hardcover of it all, so good. There's like character art on the inside too. But yeah, mine was signed. Can you see? Anyway, I really liked this one, so 3.75. Now that May is all wrapped up, we're gonna like go back in time a couple days where I built my June TBR. So we're gonna pop in that footage. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Specifically Powerless. If you liked Powerless, let me know. Give me a review. It's time to build my June TBR. And let's see if I can stick to it. But I wanted to get together the books that I want to read in June and just set them aside and build it. So join me. I also just filmed some videos. So here's a stack of books that I got at the Amazon 50% off sale. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check that video out. But can I carry all of these at once? That is the test. So most of these are gonna go over here. I got a new bookshelf for my birthday. So I'm gonna put most of these away, and then once I sorry, dogs. But I'm gonna put these books away, and once everything's in order, I can go through and select the books I wanna read. So a little tour. This is mostly my like TBR bookshelf, which is crazy and embarrassing that I have this many books to fill a full bookshelf that I haven't read yet, but such is life. But all of these up here, these I've read, and all of these I've read. And these are just like my like, well, those are special editions of books, and these ones I really, really like that I've read. These ones are fine, and then these ones are fine that I've read. But this over here is mainly a section of like, these are all books that I like really want to read next. And this is Ravi, my old stuffed animal from when I was little. And then this down here is all like romance books. And then these are my thrillers that I need to read or to be read. And then these two I think are more lit fic. And then these are some fantasy books that I'm excited about. And then these are the rest of the fantasy novels that I have to read. So like these ones are just like higher priority than those ones are. And then I have a couple books, what are they called? Food books, recipe books, cookbooks. That's the word. So these ones I really like. And then these are more of my cookbooks that I have. So these ones are all from Bon Appetit people, RIP. Like the OG Bon Appetit people, and then Skinny Taste. I love Skinny Taste recipes. But these are my two books that I'm going to go put in my other bookshelf up here. And scoot. And then Practice Makes Perfect is just gonna go down here. Okay, so lately I've been reading like 5 or 6 books a month. Nothing crazy, but probably like 4 to 5 of those are like physical books. So I'm only gonna pick like 5 books. And honestly, who knows? My mind will probably change when it actually gets to June, and who knows what I'll actually end up reading, but let's see. Okay, so I definitely want to read one thriller. So I'm gonna pick The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. I just got this one and I'm very excited about it. So this will be my thriller. And then I want to read one romance, like one silly little romance. I'm probably gonna read more than one, but like I wanna start with just one. I think I'm gonna go with Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. So this is what we're working with so far. And then, I don't know what genre this is. I think this might be lit fic, but I really want to read The Husbands by Holly Gramazio, so definitely adding this one. And then finally, I want to read a fantasy, and this one has been like speaking to me ever since I bought it, but Curious Tides by Pascal Lascelles. I don't know how to say the name, but this one looks really interesting, so I'm gonna pick this one. Okay, so this is 4. Should I do one more? I'll probably read something on the Kindle too, though, just like a Kindle Unlimited book. Okay, I'm gonna stick with this. These are my 4 books for June. I'll keep you updated if I actually read them and what my ratings are. This is my June TBR. Nothing crazy, not like any of those crazy YouTubers or book talkers who are like, I'm gonna read 10 books. I would be proud of myself if I got through all of these. Yeah, definitely follow along. I'm sure I will talk about these books at some point on the channel, so make sure to subscribe. And then also follow me on Goodreads. It'll be linked in the description also if you want to stay updated in more real time on what I'm reading and my thoughts on them. And then also, I'm starting to post a little bit more on my TikTok, so follow me there too if you're interested in more like real-time updates and also just other random content that I create. But yeah, I think that's all. Thank you for joining me, and talk to you later.